let's talk about something we all know. That feeling, the one where you're just drowning in pressure at work and every single day feels like you're just trying to survive. Well, today we're going to dive into a powerful mental discipline that helps you not just get through the chaos, but actually master it.
I mean, think about it. Does your office sometimes feel like a jungle? You've got that huge deadline, right? That's kind of like a predator stalking you. Then, out of nowhere, a massive crisis erupts. There's another one. All while your email is just exploding with urgent requests. You feel completely surrounded, right? And the gut reaction is always to just panic, to try and run in a million directions at once.
So to figure out how to navigate this mess, I want to tell you a story. It's simple, but it's really stuck with me. So for a minute, let's just forget about the office, the emails, all of it, and instead picture a deer in a quiet forest. Now this deer is thirsty. It has one single crystal clear goal: get to the river and have a drink of water. That's it. It's not some complex project with a dozen moving parts, it's just a core need, a primary mission. And so it makes its way to the water.
But right as it gets there, just as it's about to take that drink, everything changes. I mean, the whole scene just shatters, and suddenly, the deer is completely, totally trapped.
The danger is coming from everywhere. To the left, there's a hunter, totally silent, his bow drawn. To the right, a hungry lion, ready to pounce. And if that wasn't enough, behind the deer, a forest fire is closing in, blocking any chance of escape. There is quite literally nowhere to go. This is that moment of absolute, overwhelming pressure.
So what does the deer do? It doesn't bolt. It doesn't freeze up in terror. It does something that seems completely insane. It ignores the hunter. It ignores the lion. It ignores the fire. It focuses on its one true goal, and it just drinks the water.
And here's where it gets really wild. By committing to its priority, the deer basically lets the chaos take care of itself. So a storm that was brewing overhead lets out a bolt of lightning. It startles the hunter, who shifts his aim from the deer to the lion. At the same time, the heavens open up and a downpour starts, dousing the fire. The threats just neutralize each other. And the deer, its thirst quenched, simply walks away.
It's a cool story, right? But what on earth does a deer, a lion, and a forest fire have to do with your Tuesday afternoon? Well, let's pull this parable out of the forest and put it right into the office. The whole lesson really boils down to two key steps. First, when you're feeling that chaos closing in, you have to stop and ask yourself, what is my water right now? What is the one single most important thing I need to do? Then, and this is the hard part, once you know what that is, you have to give yourself permission to ignore all the other dangers. You know, the non-critical emails, the distractions, all that background noise.
Okay, so this sounds simple, but let's be honest, it's not easy. Ignoring things that feel urgent goes against every single one of our instincts. It takes real, conscious effort. It's a mental muscle you have to build. We call this skill focused stillness. So let's define that. It's the ability to find an island of calm inside your own head, to stay completely focused on one single objective, no matter how crazy things get on the outside. It's about locking in on your water and just refusing to let go. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got reactive chaos. This is where you're juggling everything, panicking, putting out every tiny fire like it's a huge emergency. And what's the result? You end the day exhausted, having achieved, well, not much of anything important. But with focused stillness, you choose one priority, you act deliberately, and you actually accomplish the mission that matters, just like the deer.
And you know, this isn't just a technique for you as an individual. If you're a leader, this is one of the most powerful tools you can use. In fact, you could argue that a leader's main job is to protect their team's focus. So let's look at how this works as a leadership framework. For any leader, it's a four-step process. First, you have to give your team absolute clarity on what their water is. What is the one goal that matters more than anything else? Second, you have to empower them. I mean really empower them, to ignore distractions. Let them say no. Third, you have to be their shield. Protect them from all the corporate noise and shifting priorities. And finally, you have to change what you reward. Stop praising people for just being busy and start rewarding them for calm, focused, powerful execution. So at the end of the day, the lesson is pretty clear. Constantly running around fighting fires just leads to burnout, and you don't really get anywhere. Real effectiveness, real success, it comes from the discipline to ignore the noise and focus on what truly matters. So I'll leave you with this question. What is your water? What's the one thing you or your team need to focus on tomorrow?